Good morning. So I recently asked on Instagram whether you guys would be interested in looking at this old video I scored and getting kind of my reactions and the things I would do differently. So this was a competition for Pond 5. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I'm going to just play it back and start giving feedback right away. Right, let's stop there. First of all, I really like that ambience that I created and the visuals, but then this weird synth comes in. Alright, let me stop there. So actually I really like the opening sequence, but that first synth hit is just really jarring. And I recall when I wrote this that I knew it was jarring, but I kept it in because I didn't know how else to introduce the synth. But, you know, in hindsight anyway, it would have been better than that. Let's move on. I do like the feeling of the kind of sunrise, the new day kind of opportunity. And I love that little section of how the visuals change and the sunlight changes, that the resonance in the synth also changes. This is where it starts falling apart a bit. Because with the drums and that synth, it sounds like it's supposed to be building, but instead I'm kind of like stopping it. I mean, I kind of end where there should be a climax, and instead I go into a completely different idea, which is another big problem. I just have too many ideas. Same thing. There's no climax. I kind of just trail off into yet another new idea. And although I think this idea works quite well, like the voice, the tone, it makes no sense in the grand scheme of things. My problem was that I was so fixated on having music on the frame changes. I don't know if you noticed that, but I often had little sound effects or transitions and stuff. And whilst little things like that are cool, having them all over the place or being bound by them can really hamper the scoring. Kind of slows down too much as well. People having fun, but because I was fixated on having the final chord on this frame, I kind of like awkwardly slowed down the music. So if I would have done this differently, I would have had an arc for the whole video instead of dividing it into 3 sections. And with music, often the video editor relies on the music to tie together certain visuals that are kind of a little bit disjointed, which this footage I feel was. I mean, it was literally just a collection of stock images glued together. And so here's a great lesson about simplicity and keeping things simple, and also like letting go of your ego. I always try to make things really complicated, and people love to find complicated solutions to things, and I think it makes them feel clever or like they did a good job, but I believe the real finesse is in doing something simple. But anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I hope you learned something from this. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon in the next one.